I love you!
Jimin, the man whose gentle smile hides a storm of emotions that makes millions of women fall in love again and again. Are you ready to discover why he has become more than just an idol to so many? Like, comment, and subscribe if you really love Jimin and to get the most touching, mysterious, and heart-revealing updates about BTS. Is his heart softer than his smile? Why women around the world adore Jimin of BTS. There's something different about Jimin, something that can't be explained with numbers, awards, or chart rankings. Something deeper than his perfect choreography or stunning stage presence. Something that slips beneath the surface and goes straight to the heart. While many artists stand tall and proud on stage, Jimin bows deeply not just with his body, but with his soul. He performs with passion, but he also listens, comforts, embraces. His every movement is art, but his every word feels like healing. From the moment BTS debuted, Jimin has been a paradox, fierce yet soft, strong yet vulnerable. His performances ignite arenas, but it's his eyes filled with warmth, uncertainty, and depth that linger in people's memories. And for so many women around the world, Jimin isn't just a star, he's a feeling. Why? Because when Jimin smiles, it doesn't feel like an act. It feels like a gift. Because when he cries, he doesn't hide it, he allows it, and in doing so, gives permission to others to feel too. Because he makes sensitivity beautiful, he makes kindness powerful. Many women have said that they see in Jimin something they've rarely found elsewhere. A man who understands emotion without needing explanation. Someone who doesn't just sing lyrics, but embodies them. Someone who doesn't demand love, but quietly earns it with every thoughtful gesture. Who else kneels on the stage floor just to meet the gaze of a crying fan in the front row? Who else whispers "thank you" 100 times, as though words are never enough? Who else, even after years of fame, still says, "I hope I'm doing well enough for you"? Jimin is the kind of man who gives, even when he's hurting. He's the kind of man who holds your gaze with softness, not pride. He's the kind of man who carries the weight of the world, but still thinks of how you are feeling first. There are countless videos of Jimin comforting others, placing a hand on a shoulder, offering a quiet word, or just staying close without speaking. Not for attention, not for show, simply because that's who he is. He remembers names. He notices when others are tired. He carries snacks to give to staff. He sends messages at midnight saying "I love you" to fans he'll never meet. These may sound like small things, but they are everything in a world where kindness is rare. For many women, Jimin represents safety. Not the kind of safety that protects with fists, but with understanding. He doesn't overpower, he welcomes. He doesn't demand, he offers. He makes people feel worthy just by being near. And maybe that's the key. In a society where women are often told to shrink themselves, to stay silent, to be perfect, Jimin is a soft rebellion. He is proof that masculinity doesn't have to be cold, distant, or unfeeling. That a man can be beautiful because he's emotional, because he's gentle, because he's real. And when women see Jimin dancing, his body moving like wind and poetry, they don't just see a performer, they see a soul. When he sings about doubt and love and longing, they don't just hear a song, they hear someone who gets it. There's a story behind every smile Jimin gives, and women around the world feel that story without needing words. Maybe that's why they love him, because he doesn't speak to the mind, he speaks to the heart. He's not perfect, and he never pretends to be. He questions himself, he worries, he works endlessly behind the scenes just to make sure that what you see on stage is his best. And even then, he still says, "I'll try harder." That kind of humility, wrapped in talent, wrapped in love, that's rare. That's Jimin. And so, women don't just admire him, they care for him. They want to protect him. They see their own softness reflected in his. And they're reminded that being tender is not weakness, that love can be quiet and still change the world. Jimin gives voice to emotions many are afraid to say aloud. And perhaps that's why women love him so deeply, because in a world that often hardens hearts, Jimin keeps his open. So when you ask, why do women love Jimin? The answer is not found in a single word. It's found in moments, in feelings, in the space between silence and understanding. Because Jimin doesn't just perform on stage, He performs a kind of love, one that sees, soothes, and stays. And still, even after everything he's done, Jimin never puts himself above others. In every group photo, he positions himself where others can shine. In every award speech, he shifts the spotlight. When fans scream his name, he smiles, but quickly shares the praise with his members. And when he's praised for his looks or voice, he lowers his head and says he's still working on himself. Humility not as a performance, but as his core. It's not just women who see this, it's felt. And that feeling lingers. It stays long after the video ends, long after the concert lights go down, long after the music fades from your headphones. At 2 a.m. when you needed someone to tell you're not alone. Because that's the strange magic of Jimin. He's not trying to be your comfort. He becomes it, effortlessly, just by being himself. And maybe that's why so many women say Jimin feels like a friend they've never met, a brother, a protector, a soulmate, a reminder of something soft and sacred that the world tried to take from them. But Jimin helps them find again. There are women who've written letters they'll never send, thanking him for getting them through a breakup, a loss, a diagnosis, a dark day. Some say his smile saved them, others say it was his tears. And isn't that the most beautiful contradiction? That someone who carries so much pain can still make others feel light. That someone who questions himself so deeply can give others confidence. That someone who constantly says, "I'm sorry I'm lacking," has never made others feel like they lack anything at all. Because when Jimin looks at you, whether through a screen or across a sea of thousands, it doesn't feel like you're part of a crowd. It feels like he sees you. That eye contact, that pause, that small wave, that bow. For many women, it's the only time in their lives someone has treated them as precious, without asking anything in return. He doesn't flirt for attention. He doesn't play the heartthrob. He doesn't seduce with arrogance. He loves with sincerity. He cares with silence. He heals without even knowing how deeply he's needed. Jimin never shouts, "Look at me," but somehow you can't look away. Because when he dances, it's not just technique, it's emotion. When he sings, his voice cracks not because he's off-key, but because he's honest. When he performs, he sweats not for applause, but because he gives everything. And when he falls, whether in pain, in tears, or in exhaustion, women don't just cheer him on. They feel that fall. They want to catch him. They want to say what he always says to them: "You did well. You are enough. You're loved." But he rarely lets himself believe that. That's why, for every woman who loves Jimin, it's not about idol worship. It's about reflection. They see their younger selves in him, hopeful, unsure, trying to be good. They see the parts of themselves they were told to hide: tenderness, tears, emotion. And they see what it looks like when a man embraces those things and still stands proud. They love him because he never asks them to change. They love him because, when he's around, they don't have to. Jimin doesn't pretend to be a savior. He doesn't call himself perfect. He doesn't try to lead. He just is. And that's what makes him unforgettable. In a world where people often shout over each other to be heard, Jimin whispers and the world leans in. Women don't love Jimin because he's unreachable. They love him because, in every word and gesture, he reminds them they are already enough just as they are. And maybe that's the kind of love this world needs more of.